What if I told you that one of the best books for understanding our crazy digital world right now was actually written almost 40 years ago? Today, we're diving into a book called Amusing Ourselves to Death. And let me tell you, its predictions for our future are almost spookily accurate. And this question, man, this gets right to the heart of the whole thing. What if the biggest danger isn't some authority figure taking information away? What if the real danger is that we're all just so entertained, so distracted, that we stop caring about the truth altogether? That's the big idea we're going to unpack. So, the guy who saw all this coming was a media theorist named Neil Postman. Back in 1985, he looked at the rise of television and basically wrote a prophecy that looks a whole lot like the world we're living in right now. Okay, so Postman's big, and I mean huge idea was this. We were all worried about the wrong kind of scary future. We were terrified of George Orwell's 1984, Big Brother, control through fear, pain, and censorship. But Postman said, nope, you're looking in the wrong direction. He argued we were actually sleepwalking right into Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, a world where we're not controlled by force, but by our own endless appetite for pleasure and distraction. So how does this happen? Well, it all comes down to this really powerful idea he called the medium is the metaphor. It's all about how the tools we use for communication actually end up shaping reality itself. Here's the thing you've got to get. The tools we use, whether it's a book, a TV show, or a smartphone, they aren't just neutral pipes for information. The medium itself sets the rules. It changes what we think is important, what we consider to be truth, and even how we think. And you can see this shift so clearly when you put them side by side. In the old world, the world of books and print, truth was all about logic. You had to follow an argument from point A to point B. It required depth and sequence. But then comes television, and suddenly, truth is about something totally different. It's about powerful images, what feels right in the moment, and most importantly, what's entertaining. If it looks good and feels good, it must be true, right? For Postman, back in the 80s, the ultimate example of this was TV news. He said it created this bizarre peekaboo world where super important, serious stuff just flashes before our eyes for a second, and then poof, it's gone. And he put it perfectly. The real issue wasn't that TV had fun shows on it. The problem was that everything, politics, war, religion, the economy, it all had to be dressed up and presented as entertainment just to hold our attention for a few minutes. Just think about his classic example, a news story about some horrible tragedy, say a plane crash. On TV, this complex, heartbreaking event gets squeezed into a 45-second clip, complete with some dramatic music and flashy graphics. And then you get the two magic words. The news anchor, who's always handsome and reassuring, turns to the camera and says, now, this. That simple little phrase is like a reset button. It tells our brains, okay, that last thing, forget about it. It's over. It has no connection to what's coming next, so don't you worry about it. And what does come next? A commercial for burgers? Or maybe a funny story about a dog that can surf? The whiplash is insane. You go from tragedy to triviality in a heartbeat, and the result is that you can't really take any of it seriously. It all just blends together into one big disposable show. Okay, I can hear you thinking. That's a great point about 80s cable news, but come on, this is the internet age. We've got all the information in the world in our pockets. Surely it's different now. Well, is it? Here's the kicker. Postman's argument isn't just relevant, it's like he had a time machine, because the whole now, this logic of television didn't die, it got supercharged, and we put it right into our social media feeds. I mean, just look at the parallels. The now, this chaos of TV news, that's you swiping from a video of a war zone directly to a dance challenge on your feed. The Huxleyan warning about being distracted to death, that's us doom scrolling for hours or binge watching an entire series. Truth being about appearance, that's when a politician's brand or vibe becomes way more important than their actual policies. And that gap between knowing something is wrong and actually doing something about it, we call that slacktivism. Thinking a like on a post is the same as taking action. So this all brings us back to that fundamental question Postman was asking. What kind of future are we actually building? Is it one where we're oppressed or one where we're just too distracted to notice what's happening? This comparison right here, this is everything. Orwell was afraid of a world where the state would control us with pain, where books would be banned. But Huxley, he was afraid of a world where we're controlled by pleasure, where there's no need to ban a book because no one wants to read one anyway. Orwell feared the truth being hidden. Huxley feared the truth being drowned in a sea of total nonsense. And here's Postman's final, chilling warning. In Orwell's world, Big Brother is watching you. In Huxley's world, we are all happily watching Big Brother because it's the most entertaining show on. Look, Postman's point wasn't that entertainment is bad. He loved a good show. He was asking something much, much deeper. When our entire public life, our politics, our news, our debates is framed as just another form of entertainment, what do we lose? What happens when a whole society becomes so flooded with trivial stuff that we forget how to be wise? That's the question he left us with, and it's one we really need to think about.